What is 3 for 30? 3 for 30 consists of 3 goals that the leaders of the National Association of Free Will Baptists adopted to work toward together throughout this decade. The 3 goals are simply to reach, train, and give. Reach. Will you identify people who do not know Christ and pray for these people regularly? We're asking every Free Will Baptist to identify children, grandchildren, parents, nieces, nephews, uncles, aunts, as well as friends and neighbors and co-workers who do not know Christ. Pray for people that you have much in common with, as well as those with whom you have very little in common with, but that God has placed in your path. Please identify individuals, pray for them, and do what you can to reach them with the gospel. Your church should ask the question, what makes us unique? In other words, what is your church like, and who or what types of people live within a 15-minute drive of the church? We're asking every church to get equipped to reach people that believe nothing in particular, that are entangled in sin, and that might even speak a different language. Will your church association, will your church conference work together to reach people that individual churches are not able to reach alone, like those that are in prisons or who are homeless and others? We're asking our associations to come together to reach people in their communities that they're unable to reach by themselves. If we focus on reaching people with the gospel, by the time we get to 2030, there will be many more people heaven-bound than there are today. Train. Will you identify people to train or disciple in the Christian faith? These people can be your own children, grandchildren, friends, neighbors, co-workers, newly married couples, or even just other folks in the church. Look for people who are not as mature in their faith as you are. Will you identify them, pray for them, and take the time to disciple them? Will your church association or conference provide training opportunities to equip Christians to train others in the gospel? Train them in how to prepare their people to navigate an increasingly secular culture. If we focus on training believers in the gospel this decade, we'll not only see our people survive the challenges they face, but they will also thrive amid adversity. Give. We will not reach people with the gospel and train them in the faith if we're not willing to give of ourselves wholly to the Lord. Will you identify how God has uniquely designed you? Ask yourself, what experiences have you had? What training have you had? What is your personality like? What kind of interests do you have? What has God made you to be and to do? God has prepared you for ministry just like He prepared Moses, Joshua, Daniel, Esther, Nehemiah, and even Peter and Paul. Will you give of yourself by doing what God has made you to do? To churches and church associations, what are the opportunities you have to minister to people in your community? Will you focus on your community rather than only focusing on yourselves? If we serve others in our community, we will have opportunities to reach people with the gospel. So are you in? Let's commit to reach people with the gospel, train them in the faith, and give ourselves totally to the Lord. The eternal state of many people is at stake, and they're depending on you. If we reach them, train them, and give, our families, churches, and communities will look very different in 2030 than they do today. And they'll thank you for it. May God be with you and bless your efforts.